How's it going, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I want to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Trent Rajoni 235, Crimson Caption 5, Jade Rasmussen, Dusk Dovahkiin, Noah Morgan, Banana Peel, RF, Ash Lopez, Cold Philly, Kevin J. Coleman, Thomas Beretta, Tommy Hill, Aaron White, Crispy Bacon, Oscar Zephyr, Commander Nom Nom, Sabely, Owen, Zach, Noah Barnhart, Canadian Caesar, Matt Way, JD, Cheese Soda, Omega, Ross Lingard, Rogue Knight, The Tin Man 1996, Thomas A. Beatty, Kendra Maxey, Dr. Pepper 225, Jacob Huffman, The Names Do, Tunnel Rat, Catmere, Benjamin Callahan, Nguyen An Quan, Brony Time, Matthew B., Smooth Weaver, Hemora 13, Pro Tomahawker, Wong Varaya, and as always, I want to give a big shout out to our executive producer, Bevan Brummett. Thank you all very much for your support, and if you want to become a Patreon supporter, feel free to click the link in the description to find out more. We'll see you there. Like, hey buddy, I'm breakdancing in the middle of the street, don't bother me.
Oh shit!
The Wall. Took us long enough to do this one, huh? Before we begin, I just want to emphasize that Pink Floyd's The Wall is one of my favorite albums of all time. Basically, in terms of a concept album and the themes and everything that it represents, I can't help but just be in awe of its musical... Say what you will about Roger Waters, say he's conceited, say he's, up his own butt about so many things. The man can write amazing riffs, and the dude is a very talented musician and a very talented lyricist. There is no doubting this. Which is why Pink Floyd's The Wall, I think, will still go down as one of the greatest albums of all time. I know a lot of people look at Dark Side of the Moon, and I love Dark Side of the Moon. But in terms of the themes that they talk about on The Wall, it's much heavier, much more psychologically, in-depth. Whereas, and that's not saying that Dark Side of the Moon isn't, but by comparison, The Wall is a much darker and much more emotional album. And I think it speaks on multiple fronts of the emotional and psychological breakdown of Syd Barrett. Those of you who do not know who Syd Barrett is, Syd Barrett was one of the guitarists. Actually, he was the guitarist. He was the lead guitarist. He was basically the main songwriter for the band before Roger Waters took over after Syd's departure. Syd Barrett basically lost his mind in the midst of him dropping too much acid, drugs, call it whatever you want, but he had a very bad emotional breakdown. And it caused him to basically have to leave the band. And he never came back. He never returned to the band. I think the emotional toil of touring, performing constantly, and having to write new music all the time to please the studio heads and all that was just too much for Syd, and he just wanted to be an artist. Like so many great artists out there, they just want to be able to create their art and continue living. And continue to create art until eventually they wish to be a muse for everyone else out there. They wish to entertain and enthrall people with their way of looking at the world. And unfortunately, Syd just couldn't take that, and he lost himself to drugs for a while, and eventually he passed away at 2008 after years and years in solitude. And I think when Roger Waters was making The Wall, when he was writing the overall concept of The Wall, for him it was basically Syd's shutting off from the rest of the world, the first half of the album, and then the second half of the album is literally Syd's mind ripping itself to pieces, eventually destroying itself and winding up on the other side, finally free of his struggles, his mental struggles. That's how I perceive the album as a concept. And the visual prowess of the wall, just the artwork and everything that's been spawned from it. The movie Pink Floyd's The Wall. I remember when my dad bought it for me. And he told me to watch it and understand that this film is basically pure visual storytelling. That's what he wanted me to take from it. And I look at it and I look at everything that the film had. The film's not perfect. The film, I think, visually is very stunning and has a lot of amazing visuals. But overall, in terms of the flow of the narrative, things get lost in translation, I think, between the creative team who made the movie and the overall concept of the album. And when I heard that Doug was doing Pink Floyd's The Wall, and not only that, but he was bringing in a whole lot of people to participate in it, including Corey Taylor, who, from what I understand, his son is actually a fan of the Nostalgia Critic. I thought that was awesome. And I remembered when this came out, we usually do our month of waiting for the Nostalgia Critic videos. And I remembered at the time when we were releasing the Nostalgia Critic videos, we weren't getting as many views on them. And a lot of people were telling us that they didn't want us to react to Nostalgia Critic anymore. And I wanted to do The Wall as like the last one that we did. And I remember, I think I remember the day of when we were going to record this, something happened and it stopped us. And I can't 100% remember because it's been almost 3 years, and we've recorded thousands of videos since then. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. There's just so much that went into us not being able to react to this. But here I am reacting to it solo, and I guess I'm going to see what Doug and the people at Channel Awesome think about this album. Or the movie, because I think he's just going to be talking about the movie. And I guess let's see what Doug has to say. Anyway, this is The Wall by the Nostalgia Critic.
This episode brought to you by Honey, the easiest way to save money when you're shopping online.
Save money with Honey. I remember this intro. Oh yeah, the maid. Uh-oh. Ah. What's up, Corey? We are not your kind.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Pink Floyd The Wall, or is it Pink Floyd's The Wall? I never know where to put the S there. Is an abstract musical that musician Roger Waters described as a separation between a rock star and his audience. But it's so much more than that, I think. When it came out in 1982, it got mixed reviews and did only okay at the box office. Many saw it as too pretentious and full of itself, saying it's way... It was just before dusk, one dark weekend evening, well on your way home.
That's cool.
When all the critics told you Pink Floyd's Wall was shite, when you thought
oh
it was
gosh, okay.
Alright. And the masses gave thanks as the movie tanked, fading into obscurity for a while. The art house ego trip had fallen and slipped to the bargain bin for $3.93.
That's That's a ridiculous cigarette.
I have listened to this album so many times, it's actually insane. I would consider myself insane for listening to it so many times.
Corey, you can use my computer to do your homework, but no looking through my desk. Got it?
First thing he does.
Good old Pink Floyd made a movie devoid of even the slightest bit of subtlety. The production was fancy, way too damn angsty for adults to take seriously.
At the time, yeah, that's what a lot of people
One
thought.
day, behind Dad's .0 stash, hidden away, and my eyes still grew big at the feelings he felt, and discovered I felt the same thing. Kids' emotions are flawed, but they're nevertheless raw. Felt when the wall broke free. Every rock star that
You're pretty good there, man.
was a rage-driven child, like in this movie. They all dream just like Floyd, most of them falling into the void. That's why I watch, despite it being so whiny. You see.
Pay attention. What's this? Pink Floyd. The boy fancies himself a musician. It's rubbish. Now what did I just say, Corey?
We don't need no education.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's grammatically incorrect, so apparently you do need some education. School is no laughing matter. Do you know what we teach in these walls?
How to fix a car, pay your taxes, ace an interview, perform first aid, manage your insurance, cook healthy meals, or do household repairs.
Preposterous! We pay other people to do those things. We teach important things you need to know in life, like algebra, trigonometry, physics, geology, sex ed. Oh, that's right, you have letters that say you don't need to learn that. Well,
Okay. This critique of the American education system I agree with. I mean, first off, like, teaching kids how to take care of their taxes, I think that's a very important thing. Also, you know, learning how to manage oneself, like, just personal management. You cram all this info into a kid's head, and you give them no recourse of what the real world is like. Basically, oh god, it's a giant daycare, just like college.
Shouldn't be too important, especially in the case of that kid. Do you laugh at everything? Well, anyway, continue to act like the oppressed, and me the oppressor. Rock albums seem to really eat that shit up.
Welcome to high school, where all the teachers are monsters. I know it looks like they want to teach you something, but they don't. They just want to eat you up because we're evil, blood-sucking vampire thieves.
Need more victimization.
There are no good teachers, not one, not even by accident.
Okay, and for me to say this, like, okay, my mom was a teacher. She was an art teacher. Everyone loved her. And by everyone, I mean everyone. And there were a bunch of kids who would tease me about it, just like, hey, your mom's hot, dude. Bro, your mom's hot. Dude, your mom's hot. I would hear that so friggin' much. But no, there were good teachers in school. There were. But, I mean, okay. All in all, this critique right here, I don't agree with, because the educational upbringing of private school kids in the UK, they've looked at, like there's been plenty of probing into it, and yeah, it was pretty hardcore what they did to the kids back then. I mean, basically you had to do what they said, or you'd get disciplined in front of the entire classroom. And most of it I disagree. I disagree with this critique, but I also agree with the whole thing with basically they treat kids like cattle, and they raise them to be not contributing members of society, but to just be consumers. And I think the whole thing with Doug's interpretation here, I don't agree with it. But well.
We need more stuff to rebel.
We don't want to help you, we just want to eat your blood and suck your brains.
No, our education system's broke.
Wait, maybe it's the other way around. I don't know, I got a high school education.
This is pandering like hell.
Remember that one teacher who seemed cool? He wasn't. He was all part of the plan.
Hey! Who cares? All this bitching sells!
Remember that one teacher who seemed really kind and gave you candy?
Well, we got another hit in the wall.
That candy was really sugar-coated children's souls!
LOL, so school sucks. Throw a damn pair of balls.
Children's souls! We're so evil! It's all part of my secret plan to make sure you're more likely to get a job when you're older.
Milking your gloom and pity.
How terrible is that?
You hated school, held
It's like those 90s commercials where the adults look like bad guys.
What's next rating? DMVs.
Except they weren't 90s commercials, they were mini documentaries. It's all true.
Waters, leave it all to me.
We really don't see what makes Cinnamon Toast Crunch so great.
All your old complaining doesn't mean much at all.
Because we're old.
But who cares? It's still a damn cool song in the wall.
Blah, 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 blah. My teacher, blah, 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 blah.
We still need more
really a World War II reference?
Yeah.
No, it's just a bunch of kids being herded onto a train to a horrible, torturous building. Oh.
Yeah, that was the analogy that they were going for. They were going for a Holocaust analogy, which I think I don't 100%, like, again, there's a shit ton of this that's left up to interpretation, but for me, I think what Roger Waters is saying here is that they're creating a mental holocaust. They're basically squeezing out all of the fortitude of, you know, just you wanting to be creative, and instead leaving you a husk that's, you know, due to be ground up for the machine. And again, I can see why, you know, some people would consider that pretentious, but again, I mean, from what a lot of people have said about, you know, the private school or the public school, no, it was the private schools. The private schools in the UK, they were pretty vicious when they were bringing kids up, especially during and after World War II.
Yeah, we're really comparing this to high school?
No, it's just meant to look weird and creepy. They're not implying that.
I don't know. I don't think there's a way to not connect that.
Oh, come on. They're just saying school sucks. They're not making any connections to that. Now let's go on to the next song that talks about the horrors of World War II. Oh, crap.
See.
It's just a coincidence. Maybe. I don't know. Bye.
Why is that bird on fire? Ah, yes. Again, they're not talking about American life. They're talking about British life. I think this is the biggest thing Doug's missing. They're talking about, you know, the upbringing in the UK versus here in the US. I mean, there's a wealth of differences.
Doesn't this seem too heavy? Is World War II with monsters too silly? Oh, Roger Waters, did you ever wonder why these images of slaughter made it in a film that also sings about how high school bites? Is it saying anything that deep? War's bad things, are we supposed to be? Sure, we're all bummed up, but you're losing clout in this movie. So long, Oscar bait song. Smoke a bong and it will feel less wrong. So long, weird song.
Okay, again, when you look at it from the scope of an adult looking at this, you know, seeing those big, you know, monsters on the horizon and, you know, the demons and everything like that, you know, you would basically, you know, as an adult, you'd look at that and be like, oh, that's a little ridiculous. But when you look at it from the perspective of a child, which is what the film does, I mean, when we're looking at the stuff through the protagonist's eyes, where he's a child, and a child, when hearing about this great massive evil of the German war machine coming after you, you wouldn't think of, you know, foot soldiers. Instead, you would imagine some of the most horrifying monsters that you could as a kid. Again, like, the analogy I think is lost there, and I think, again, given also that the UK was right next door, across, like, straight across the channel from Greater Europe, and they were getting bombed. That's another thing too. Like, Americans, we had Pearl Harbor, yeah, but the UK was bombed relentlessly during World War II. Relentlessly. I mean, children were sent to the countryside up north out of the cities to get away from that. Like, being displaced. And again, displacement from your home is a horrible thing that happens. And it happened to a lot of kids back then. Again, I just think there's so many things that are lost on the analogy of this that I don't think Doug was seeing. I don't know. Anyway.
Is that better?
Dude, I don't know what to think while watching that.
Good! That means we're brilliant. Now I'm gonna go do a slow mopey song.
Haven't we had enough of those?
Yeah, but we have had several of them back to back, so that'll really mix things up. Watch now how I do a sad song about being cheated on.
So, you're going from World War II, one of the worst things to ever happen,
To bitching about your girlfriend cheating on you?
Hey, it doesn't matter how I'm pained, as long as I'm torturously pained.
Sounds pretty douchey, man.
Yeah, pretty douchey.
Hey, if someone doesn't like my artistic dive into madness caused by an affair...
You mean like The Room?
No.
Yes.
Shut up. They can just skip the scene.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you.
I think this could have, like, that little repartee right there, if it was with almost anything else, could have been funny, but right here where they're talking about the wall, I don't know. I think this is, again, stream of consciousness when it comes to a musician expressing themselves. I mean, again, I don't know. Because when I deep dove into the research of Pink Floyd's The Wall, because, okay, fuck it, I'll go out and say it. I wrote a stage musical version of The Wall. Like, 100%, from beginning to end. I wrote a stage musical based on Pink Floyd's The Wall. I thought it was good. I did, back when I was younger. And doing research on it, I did a lot of the research and came up with a lot of imagery that evoked the time in which the protagonist, I think Pink, was growing up. Which, wartime and, like, post-wartime England was a very tumultuous time in terms of the UK's history. And also the fact that in the story, Pink's father dies. I mean, a war, basically, I heard, I forget who said it, but I always heard someone say, you can always excuse a bastard by saying that his pop died in the war. That's the other thing, too. Just looking at everything the way Doug is and they're perceiving through the scope is, to me, I don't know. I just don't like it.
What's that person I could never see betraying me? You're betraying me? Oh. I got a lot more drawn-out angst than that.
Hey, so you invited me up here. What you want to do?
Just watch TV.
You invited me.
Actually, in terms of it, again, she wasn't invited up. She was a groupie that found her way up. Her and her friends basically coerced their way into the building, and she found him, and she was trying to get him to engage with her. And again, so many things are missing on this. Okay.
Me up here to literally watch TV.
I'm a successful musician with millions. How can you expect me to be happy?
This is gonna be another one of those slow mopey songs, isn't it?
Yes. I know that. Don't worry, I have a slow mopey song here too.
Hey you.
Oh my God! Doesn't this remind you of Jesus? I'm like Jesus. I'm Jesus. Feel sorry for me. I'm Jesus.
Corey!
Is there anybody who cares?
Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there?
Wake up. Are you still awake in that chair? Just keep listening to me.
Oh god.
I know you're kind of bored. Yeah, sure. It's a lot of slow songs now. It's hard to keep on track. Mellow songs back to back.
Ah, shit! He's watching the
Oh god, there's Brad.
Wake him up!
This movie first. Just a half hour more. Come on, you've gotten through worse.
There is no pain for all the seeing. But there's some chips marked on the horizon.
Your attention constantly may fade. Your eyes move, but do you care what we're saying?
Okay.
When I was a child, remember being invested.
I had a feeling.
Like hearing the dark side of the moon.
What? Wait, yeah, Bob Hoskins was the manager. Rest in peace, Bob Hoskins.
Hearing the dark side of the moon. Now I've grown. The section starts to drag like a long nag. I just don't understand. Is this now how I am? I have become comfortably numb.
Oh, come on.
Okay, just get through the damn flick. You want to seem cool, but this ain't getting your kicks. Can you listen? Later there will be a quiz. Somebody has to feel the same. When I become so lame, there is only so long I can go with hearing a millionaire say that things blow. It's like I've been asleep for days. The film plays, but I can't take the complaining. Like telling a child, it's just how everything is. Just fighting to open my eyes. The epic feels I had are gone. I don't know what is going on now. The child is gone, and I'm gone.
Corey and his son, they have the same exact seating pattern.
I wish those days weren't just a phase.
God. And it cannot be understated, David Gilmour's friggin' contributions to the album. Holy shit. Gilmour murdered those solos. He murdered and he murdered his vocal parts too. Comfortably Numb. Jesus. I love this album so much. And also, again, on Doug missing the mark here, on one hand, I can't fault him, but on the other hand, I'm just like, To me, there is just so much more to this than just, a millionaire being like, a millionaire being pretentious and saying, "Oh, I'm tortured." In truth, like, I look at Kurt Cobain, money does not make the demon go away. This is something that a lot of people have, like, depression. I look at like a demon. The demon does not go away whenever you have all the money in the world. I look at examples like Chris Cornell, especially Chester, dude. Chester Bennington from Linkin Park really messed me up. The fact that he literally had everything. He had everything that someone could ever want. His band was still popular. They weren't, upper echelon like they were in the early 2000s and, turn of the millennium. But they were still very popular. And that's why, Chester at 42, or no, I think he was 40, I think he was 42, still very young and still very capable artist, just going out like that. Oh, God, dude, that messed me up. And again, when you never can judge somebody for the position that they're in and pretend to know that everything that they've been through in their life. That's one thing that I can definitely say. For me, every time I have this problem where people pretend like they know. I try and be as open and as honest with all of you out there as I can be. I try to put myself out there to a degree where I think everyone can have a good idea of who I am. But then there are people out there who want to pretend like they know who I am, that they know me, that they know how I tick, and they know how my brain functions and all that. And, when I look at this, I look at it as though it's Sid Barrett's mental fortitude basically just at nil right now. And he is at the breaking point where he is completely self-isolating. That's how I perceive this. Anyway, sorry. Enough of me complaining and, old man yells at son for being too hot. God. Anyway, let's go ahead and keep going.
This is where I bring people that I don't want other people to see. Now sober up or have an existential conflict. Either works for me.
Damn, that's bright. Okay. Hammer! 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 And now the no commercial because I got YouTube Red.
Honestly, before I found out about Honey, seeing the promo code box at checkout stressed me out. Like, should I be typing something in there? Is there a code? Oh! Just knowing that there could be a discount out there made me worry about overpaying every time I shopped online. Thankfully, now I have Honey. It's a free browser extension that scans the internet for coupon codes, then, like magic, bring, it automatically applies the best one to your cart at checkout. Honey will find you every coupon code, sale, or discount on over 20,000 sites like Amazon, eBay, Best Buy, GameStop, Newegg, and more. So you might ask, how do I know Honey really works? Well, they've got your back. Not only did Honey test over 1 billion promo codes last year, but it actually applied 185,067,086 working codes to people's orders. Those commas mean it's a big number. Not to mention the subscribers who have already downloaded Honey saved over $83,000. That's ... a lot of real life savings. With Honey, there's literally no stress when you see that promo code box at checkout. Why, just look at the money I saved getting Alita Battle Angel. A movie everyone should see because it's really good and I want sequels. Go buy that after downloading Honey.
Ain't
In fact,
gonna
here's
happen,
Honey.
unfortunately.
That's like 2 good things at once. It's good. You can download Honey right away at joinhoney.com/nostalgia. Honey is for everyone because it works for practically anything you buy online. And downloading it is easy. It only takes 2 clicks to install. Look, there's really no reason not to download Honey. In fact, you can celebrate by having real Honey afterwards. But this is better than real Honey. It's free to use and easy to install on your computer in just 2 clicks. You can't do that with real Honey. Real Honey costs money, and it's food! Stupid food! Never overthink about the promo code box again. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/nostalgia. That's joinhoney.com/nostalgia. Thanks again to Honey for sponsoring this video. And I mean the website, not the dirty food. It comes from filthy bees' butts. Go!
Honey's delicious, Doug. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, you guys like the music in this review? Well, believe it or not, there's an album of it. I'm not even kidding. This was done by Rob Scallon, who appears in the review. He has his own YouTube channel. He's just this incredible talent, and I really think he outdid himself with this.
Sadly, I will not be purchasing it because, don't get me wrong, I love Rob Scallon. Rob is just one of my favorite YouTube musicians out there, but this is not something that I am going to go out of my way to purchase. The original is still, like, I still have the original on my iPhone, and I still listen to it every now and again. God, I miss being younger and not, like not knowing. Anyway, sorry.
Because this is just such a love letter to Pink Floyd's music and The Wall, and you can download the album in the link below. There's even songs and music that isn't in the review, it's only for the album, and it's really fantastic stuff, so go check it out, man.
That's great. I like that. Oh God, charts.
So yeah, I'm the person you all think you know. That soaks up your angst and confusion. I'm that nameless foe. I got some weird news for you, sunshine. This was dissing Thatcher's administration. But it's vague enough to put anyone you fear. Politician, showman, just put their face here. Are there any authority figures in the crowd tonight?
Oh, yes, that's me. I'm totally thinking this.
We'll put them in the wall! That one's looking stressed. He wants to feel impressed. Put him in the wall! And that one looks sheltered, like she never leaves a room. I'll be that friend you can blame for all your gloom. That one looks like he really wants to be outraged. Now with social media, you have the stage. Hashtag, 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 hashtag,
Alright everyone, let's take our 100% correct opinion
need their attention. Love me or hate me, just look at me more.
Okay, this I'm actually okay with. I like this alright. I like this pretty good. This is actually okay. This analogy is actually not as terrible. It's pretty good. Also, you know, the echo chamber is something definitely I find myself fighting against a lot, but yeah, again, there's so many things I can add to this, but again, I'll see how it all ends.
Whatever side you choose, just don't ever wait. Waiting for the point.
Don't fear that you're wrong. Just fight until the end, my friend.
All you need to do is fight off something. Don't worry, as long as you don't see me as human, you can hate me all you want. Because remember, this can never happen to you. I'm bad, you're good. The more extreme you can get, the more happy you'll become. They'll put that person whose face you hate here and tweet, 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 tweet.
You know, I got places to go. How long will this go? So, Corey, your analysis of Pink Floyd The Wall has led you here. Do you now understand the deeper meaning of...
Oh boy.
Do you understand the deeper meaning of what it has to say, or is it just a misguided ego trip in this self-indulgent world that we all live in? Pardon, who is it?
Hello there, Critic.
It's Sullivan.
Croft.
The Satellite City guy?
Yes, actually. I was. Is Lucy Lacemaker there? Is she there? Because I was. Well, it's just a thing.
Have you found her yet?
Shut the fuck up.
What do you mean is she there? She's a made-up character.
I mean,
You're not exactly giving creation all of its credit. It's not like you just shit out the Horcrux that Voldemort never meant to make.
and that's it. You know, there's a little more to it than that. When you make a character
That looks real and feels real, well, the line tends to blur, you know.
if you see it, just don't say anything stupid. Good luck, mate.
Oh, that's that weird creature I've seen looming around.
Yes. And when I heard you were reviewing the much-to-be-desired wall, I figured I'd throw my own tippence. Style over substance, showcasing a bunch of weird creatures and worlds. Not a drop of intellectual development. All paint, no ink.
But you are a weird creature. I thought you'd be all over this.
Music is one thing. Film is quite another. The beauty of music is letting your mind steal itself. The beauty of cinema is taking those raw, maddening ideas and developing them. It's easy to think of a nonsensical idea. Fucking children do it. It's hard to turn those ideas into thinking, feeling characters and worlds. And isn't that the point of a cinematic adaptation? To make a point? Well, it's clear that the music here does that fine on its own. If you're going to adapt an album into a movie, a completely different medium, I dare say, one should adapt it.
Oh, so being a fully developed character, you wanted more fully developed characters.
Whether I'm developed or not is down to the viewer, old son. But this film you have here, it fails to truly connect us to those amazing creatures and visuals. A world does indeed exist, and it lies between the monsters and the emotion, dreams and reality, anarchy and order. Make us feel for the world, make us connect to it, so we too can suffer with Pink.
The visuals are usually praised as the best part. You think you can make a case that the weird characters needed more development?
Each one represented something deep and meaningful. Fantastic designs and presence. Wouldn't you want more of them? Let me show you. Let me show you what happens when your dreams no longer need you.
Don't follow her. Good morning, the worm, Your Honor.
The court will take a vote on if the film that plays before us can in any way show some
Feelings. Showing feelings of an almost human nature. This will not do. Call the schoolmaster. Damn. Okay, so I love the trial, because the trial I felt was Pink's multiple voices in his head, like how he was portraying everything around him, all clashing right here. And everyone who's influenced him, everyone who has formed him into the person that he is, his mother, the schoolmaster, his girl, and the judge is basically I guess you could say, is sort of like Pink's conscience, and he's judging if Pink has actually had bad things happen to him, or if he's the one who caused all of it. And the prosecution is basically his depression, can be seen as his depression, telling him, oh yeah, it's all your fault. It's all his fault. I call Exhibit A the schoolmaster, the mother, yeah. And, also a little bonus factoid here. When they did the Wall's performance in Berlin, they had a all-star cast of characters playing all of these different characters. Number one, the prosecutor was Tim Curry. I shit you not. The prosecutor was Tim Curry, and it was glorious. Albert Finney played the judge. God, I loved it so much. It was so good. It was so good. Oh, anyway, sorry.
worthy feelings of an earnest canny nature, from joys to blue.
I always said I liked how well made ditty. I will not suffer shitty those that bring forth naught but pity for their lack of wit and mind. But here we rather find the result of heart and artist. I say the music here is joyous, but with that we have to say crazy. Left in the attic, we're not crazy. Constantly dreaming, or just wish they'd give us some more time to live.
Constantly adult being lazy.
Those little shits, they've done it now. We all deserve personality. They could have used us far more often than they did, but no, they had Yes, no, Your Honor. Them and us
alone!
This film's not bound by characters, it's a visual affair. It never aimed to tell a story, rather a sprawling canvas of emotion, visual splendor, and Your Honor, we can take that home.
Maybe there's more to the picture, just maybe. Both sides of the wall. There's a difference between nonsense after all. Theater creation.
Genius and nonsense and creation.
And then the judge.
The evidence before the court is incontrovertible. There's no need for the jury to retire. In all my years of judging, I have never seen before a film so deserving of both love and wanting more. The way it makes you tougher, makes you think and feel but suffer. Fills me with an urge to decapitate. I believe this film is apt with much to be revealed. But the marvelous creature should be adored as opposed to being feared. Tear down the wall. Tear down the wall.
Hey, Corey.
Hey! Well. Bye.
But that's it? We're stopping there?
Well, yeah, the movie did.
I didn't even get a line. Hell, I didn't even sing a song. What'd you even think of the movie?
Well, the movie ended on such an open vagueness that only makes sense that the review end on such an open vagueness.
No!
It's a review! That's literally the opposite of what that is!
Okay! I liked it fine.
Yeah, me too.
A little full of itself, but good music and imagination.
Fair enough.
Let Corey sing a song.
Well, since you got me, I figure I could sing you one of my biggest hits.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it, Corey.
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Orange and yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Ethical nonsense, be something you wish.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Jump on the deck and float like a fish.
SpongeBob SquarePants! SpongeBob SquarePants! SpongeBob SquarePants! SpongeBob SquarePants! SpongeBob SquarePants!
Good?
I mean, it's not gonna top that.
Check out the album!
Okay, so Doug's final review. It's fine. again, I don't consider The Wall, the movie, to be anything like truly like groundbreaking or like beyond like it. I give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. The visuals, the music apparently. I mean, Jesus, one of the greatest albums of all time. But again, I think Doug's analogies by comparing, excuse me, hiccups. I think Doug's analogies by him making the comparisons, to me, it's not as, it doesn't hit. Like Doug's analogies miss more than they hit. I think there were a few things that he said that I kind of agree on, but for the most part, I would say this is this Doug's worst review? It's up there. I would say it's probably it. Is it worthy of the is it worthy of the absolute shitstorm that it got here in like 91,000 downvotes, 24,000 upvotes? Okay, this right here, you know, Tommy Wiseau's a joke and everyone hates him. Nostalgia Critic is a treasured internet icon. Nostalgia Critic is a joke and everyone hates him. Tommy Wiseau is a treasured internet icon. No, Tommy Wiseau's still a joke. I was so confused. He thought someone directing it. Well, I don't think he's doing that. Okay, I'm reading some of the comments down here. And the comment down here basically says, you know, I don't understand how Doug got so confused. He thought someone directing a crowd to kill, you know, various peoples. I don't understand how anyone could be completely detached from reality. It's fucking gold. I would say he's not detached from reality. Instead, I think he's doing a more modern comparison. I think because the Twitterverse, they do act like an angry mob, and the angry mob is apt to cancel people. And yeah, it's kind of scary what Twitter is capable of. Then of course, you know, you gotta respect Doug for leaving the comments on. Yes. And I also gotta respect Doug for leaving, well, now that the dislike bar for most of YouTube is disabled now. I mean, Doug didn't have it disabled here, so, you know, I gotta admit, you know, that's good. That was the longest Family Guy cutaway gag I've ever seen. Okay, that's a good comment. I like that. This review should be shown at film schools. Truly cheese. Critique inside. I would say for the most part, yeah, this was pretty. This was. Yeah, it was pretty far out beyond making a good point. This to me is. Again, there are some things about this review that I thought were cool, but I mean, the fact they got Corey Taylor and they got Rob Scallon in as to make music for it. Yeah, this was great, but at the same time, for the most part, Doug's analogies and critiques, I find myself disagreeing with the vast majority of them. A few things I agree with. This is probably Doug's worst review. I can't really think of anything that infuriated, you know, Doug's feel to make me, like, he definitely missed the mark with this one. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, the Nostalgia Critic's review of The Wall, I can see why a lot of people disliked it, although I don't think it deserves, basically a lot of people saying Doug should be canceled for this. No, I don't think Doug deserves to be canceled for this. Again, it's just a bad take. And everybody has them. And, you know, again, I'm not one to pretend like I know Doug's upbringing or anything like that, but I know Roger Waters was, suffered from child abuse and all that. I can't say I suffered it at the hands of my own parents, but I was definitely taken advantage of to a certain degree by certain people, and maybe I'll make a video talking about that, but I guess we'll see. But for right now, yeah, this was an interesting review. Not one that I'm gonna take anything away from, because again, I did a shit ton of research on Pink Floyd's The Wall, and also the history of Pink Floyd, and also just the world that they all grew up in. I mean, sheesh. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this, everyone. This was Pink Floyd, or this was The Wall by the Nostalgia Critic. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully we will see you all in the next one. If you want to see more from Nostalgia Critic, hit the channel awesome name in the title of the video. If you want to see more from us, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and until next time, I'm Nate. I'll see you then. Peace.